Yes, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Vania Maytari, and now I will explain about the linguistic varieties and multilingual nation in EFL context. Okay, so over half the world population is bilingual, and many people are multilingual because they need for different purposes in their everyday interaction. For example, like Indonesian people learn English language for the education or for communication with people when visiting another country. Because English is an international language, so we assume that all of the countries can speak English. A learner may encounter different varieties of English as well as other languages, which can create a range of linguistic and cultural challenges. The several of main issues in the EFL context is the diversity of dialects, accent, and navigate between different languages in order to communicate effectively. As we know, English have many different dialect and accent, which sometimes make learners have difficulty to understanding English. To avoid this situation, the learner should more practice listening and speaking in different dialect and accent. If in EFL context too, may need to navigate between different language in order to communicate effectively, and they can use code switching, which means the practice of alternating between two or more language within a single conversation. Next is a variety of categorization for language in sociolinguistic based on its status and social function. The first one is vernacular language. Vernacular language are usually the first language learned by people in multilingual communities and often used for a relatively narrow range of informal function. In generally, this language which has not been standardized and which does not have official status. And this language is used for communication in the home and with close friends because it is the language of solidarity between people from the same ethnic group and sometimes used to indicate that the language is used for everyday interaction without implying that it is appropriate only in formal domains. The second one is standard language. Standard language is used in many different ways by linguists. Only a minority of the world language are written and has undergone some degree of regularization and codification. Lingua franca. Lingua franca is a language which is serving as a regular means of communication between different linguistic groups in multilingual nation and used habitually. And the last is Pidgin and Creole. A Pidgin is a language which has no native speakers. Pidgin developed as means of communication between people who do not have a common language. A Creole is a Pidgin which has acquired native speaker. Okay, so in EFL context can develop the language skill they need to communicate effectively in diverse linguistic and cultural contexts and should more study English so there are no difficult. Okay, so that's all from me and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.